the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
We disagree right out of the gate here, Matt Green. Where are we going next?
Right out of the gate, sir. And we will go to another home dog. This one I'm also excited about. Florida State at Clemson. Clemson is a 1.5 point home dog, which is surprising. An unranked team facing the number 3 team in the country. And they're only a 1.5 point dog in this one. How do you see this game going?
Oh, man. This one I went back and forth on, probably more than any other game this week. Clemson's fourth in rushing first downs. Will Shipley's quietly been solid. They've rebounded pretty well. Like, there was some silliness in the Charleston Southern game. And if you look at that box score, it's pretty funny. Like, I love Shutdown Fullcast. Shout out to those good folks. They had a hilarious rundown of just, if you didn't watch the game, in the box scores. And it's just really funny how that was a competitive contest between Clemson and Charleston Southern for a little bit of time, Matt Green. But Clemson's won 7 straight in this series. This is something I can't shake. So Clemson's really dominated, and that's why I've been dubious before the year and picking Clemson to win the ACC again. When people are jumping on Florida State, is like, okay, can they beat Clemson first? Can they get that monkey off their back? And part of me, just with what we've seen, you lose on the road at Duke to open the year, and you look really rough. Cade Klubnik's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the ACC this year. It's not like he's gotten progressively better. Jordan Travis averts disaster last week in Boston College, so he gets that. I also think it's kind of important that they just found a way to win. I think people just want clean, big wins every single week when their team's good. And it's just like sometimes you're just going to have, as Dan Rubenstein of The Solid Verbal says, win your clunkers. And that's going to happen sometimes. It's just mainly you want to get out of there with a dub. You don't want to do what Tennessee did on the road in the swamp on Saturday night. You want to do the opposite of that, generally speaking. But look, this was something cool I found on in one of the previews I was looking through was FSU Heisman winners through 4 games. Charlie Ward had 1,228 total yards, 9 TDs. Chris Winkie, 1,199 total yards and 10 TDs. Jameis Winston, 1,159 total yards and 14 TDs. Jordan Travis through 3 games, 835 total yards, 9 TDs. So he has 1 game less than the big 3 who won Heisman trophies for Florida State in the past. And he's going to eclipse some of those numbers here, Matt Green, following this Clemson game, unless there is an absolute disaster. Florida State also hasn't won since 2014. And that's still, it's a long time, Matt Green. That's a time when they won the national title right before with Jameis Winston. And they were number 1 in the country. They're right there. They're number 2 in your power rankings, Matt Green. The reason I bring all that up, Dabo early on, I mean, they were number 22. They weren't the powerhouse that they are now. Florida State was the powerhouse. Florida State barely won. They got a dub, 23-17 in overtime. All this to say, I think the tides are turning. I think this is a monumental win for Florida State and the Seminoles as they take over the top spot in the ACC this season and maybe for the next couple years. I think Florida State gets the job done. Clemson loses at home to Florida State. I'm going to say Florida State wins 27-23.
27-23. All right. Florida State, put it on the board. It's interesting you brought up Florida, Tennessee, because I think there's a lot of parallels here with this game and Florida, Tennessee from a week ago. Florida got embarrassed week 1 on the road. Clemson got embarrassed week 1 on the road. Left for dead. You know, no one believed in this team. Mm-hmm. Florida State, just like Tennessee, cannot win in Clemson. They've Clemson, or we all know about Tennessee hasn't won at Florida since like 2003. Florida State's won 1 time in Death Valley since 2001. 1 and 9 in their last 10. And that one was Jameis Winston in 2013 when they won the national championship. So that's your national championship team was the only team that could win in Death Valley. So I just look at this game, and this is kind of like Tennessee. Florida State, if not now, win. Like, Clemson hasn't been unranked coming into this matchup, probably in 15 years? Like, it's since Dabo got the job. So I think this is a golden opportunity for Florida State. But I also kind of feel like everyone's counting out Clemson right now. And you look at that Duke game, like 28-7, yeah, like Duke beat them easily. But like they had like over 430 yards of offense, like missed or 2 blocked field goals, 3 turnovers. It's like everything happened that could possibly happen to lose that game. And like you're saying, like the Charleston Southern game was like tied at halftime or something. And like, that's probably the last time anyone was actually watching Clemson. They're like, oh shit, Clemson, they might lose. Like, what's going on, Dabo? And then they ended up winning easily, and then no one really watched them play last week and they put up a 50 spot. Right. So whatever you learn from that game, this feels a lot like Florida, Tennessee. Like I'm saying, like, I don't think Clemson's a better team than Florida State. Like right now, call me crazy, I don't think Florida's a better team than Tennessee necessarily. I think it's just home atmospheres. They do something. Teams playing with their backs against the wall. Like the Dabo Swinney's entire reputation and legacy being put on the line for not going to the transfer portal. Something just tells me like Death Valley's going to be rocking. I like Clemson to shock the world and upset Florida State. And this will be a justified field storming, even though they do it every week in Death Valley. So give me the Clemson Tigers, even though I got Florida State in my power rankings. But I don't know. There's something about that home atmosphere.
Wow. I didn't see this coming.
Yeah,
Did not see this coming.
We're off to a hot start, sir. We're just getting started.
Colorado at Oregon. Is that where we're going next?
That is where we're going next. Were you shocked by this spread?
No.
Oregon's at home, 20.5-point favorite in this one. Like, I know Travis Hunter is out. Like, I know this team Colorado just went to overtime with Colorado State. Like, this isn't a great team by any means. It's a great story, and they are a very good team. We don't know if they're a great team yet. I don't think they're a great team. But what do they have? Like 12 turnovers, 10 turnovers. I think they forced in the first 3 games. That's not always sustainable. But if you are doing that, that's changing games. So